Hey, my friend, I'm Scott, and this is the State 48 Homeowner Podcast. Today, we're tackling a question that affects just about everyone. Debit or credit? Which one should you use? We're going to break down the differences between debit and credit cards and discuss the best practices for each. We're going to help you decide which one is best for you. And stick around till the end because we're going to share 3 ways that you can save money by using cash instead of cards. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss that. But before we dive in, if you find this video helpful, please give us a like and tell us what you think in the comments. It really helps us know what kind of content to bring you. So let's swipe right into it. Is it going to be debit or credit? This week on State 48 Homeowner.
Hi, I'm Klaus, and this is State 48 Homeowner.
So let's start with the basics. While debit and credit cards may look similar, they both have card numbers, expiration dates, and security codes, they function very differently. A debit card is linked directly to your bank account. When you use it, money is withdrawn from your account to pay for the purchase. Think of it like an electronic check. It basically is the same thing. On the other hand, a credit card allows you to borrow money from the card issuer up to a certain limit. And you pay back the money, usually with interest if you carry a balance. It's like a miniature loan. Both have their pros and cons, so let's break those down. First up, credit cards. Here's some of the advantages. Number 1, credit cards help build your credit history. Using a credit card responsibly can help you build a strong credit score. And this is important when you're applying for loans, renting apartments, or even getting certain jobs. Of course, keeping your balance low, making payments on time, that's key. And optimally paying off your balance each month, that's the best way to use a credit card.
Using a credit card responsibly can significantly boost your credit score, which is crucial when applying for a home loan. Lenders look at your credit history to determine your reliability in repaying debt. But remember, mismanaging credit cards and payments, like making a late payment or carrying a high balance, can hurt that credit score, which in turn can make it harder to qualify for certain loans and programs or result in higher interest rates.
Number 2, rewards and perks. Many credit cards offer rewards like cashback, travel points, or discounts. Who doesn't like getting a little something extra for their spending? You can earn miles or points on your favorite airline, cashback on Amazon, cashback for different kinds of purchases, sometimes up to 5 to 6% back on things like gas, travel, or streaming services, depending on the card or the program. Number 3, fraud protection. Credit cards often offer better protection against unauthorized transactions. If someone uses your card fraudulently, you're typically not held liable for those charges. But if you're using a debit card, under the Electronic Fund Transfer Act, you would be liable for the first $50 for fraudulent purchases. But that's if you notice it right away, like if you notice it within 48 hours. After 2 days, you're liable for the first $500, and after 60 days, forget it. And this is a big pro for credit cards, fraud protection. It's probably one of the biggest reasons to use credit cards for online purchases and large purchases like electronics and appliances, travel. It's not just for fraud of someone using your card or gaining access to your account, but just in having issues with the seller or product. That brings us to purchase protections. Some credit cards offer extended warranties, price protection, or insurance on purchases. And this is a big benefit on those big ticket items, on travel and rental cars. Your cards might actually have some special programs for those items. But of course, there's downsides too, and let's look at those. First off, interest and fees. If you don't pay your balance in full each month, you're going to pay interest on the remaining amount. And there might be some annual fees, late payment fees, and other charges. And interest is going to snowball, and carrying a balance negates a lot of the benefits that we talked about earlier. And there's debt risk. It's easy to overspend with a credit card, and that can lead to debt that's really hard to pay off. Like I said, it snowballs. If you don't think you can treat your credit card like cash and only spend what you have available to pay off each month, only use your credit card for things like hotels and rental cars. And finally, credit cards can have a positive impact on your credit score, but could be negative too. Missing payments, maxing out your card, that can negatively affect your credit score. And all 3 of these things can remove all of the benefits of credit card usage. If you're behind on your credit cards and you want some strategic plans, check out episode 143 on making smart financial choices with Ramsey certified coach Caroline Kelly. Now, let's talk about debit cards. Let's talk about the pros. First, you're not going to accumulate debt. I mean, since you're using your own money, there's no risk of falling into debt. It's going to flow right out of your checking account. So you're only taking money from yourself. That means you're also not going to incur interest charges. You're not going to pay interest because you're not borrowing money. It's your own money. And that's a win in itself, if you consider the credit card rates are in the 20s plus. Debit cards also help with budgeting. Debit cards can make it easier to stick to a budget because you're limited to the funds that are in your account.
Using a debit card is fantastic, especially if you're trying to stick to a budget. Since the money comes directly out of your checking account, it'll also keep you from potentially overspending, which can happen a lot of times with credit cards.
But let's talk about the cons of debit cards. One of the biggest is that debit cards have that limited fraud protection. If your card is lost or stolen and unauthorized transactions occur, recovering your money can be more complicated and time-consuming. I talked about this earlier. You have to be really quick to limit your liability for fraud. And keep in mind that debit cards, they're usually linked to your entire checking account. If somebody gains access to it and for some reason you don't notice it, and they clean you out, after 60 days, you have no protection. And using debit cards alone doesn't help you build your credit. Debit card usage doesn't impact your credit score. So it's not going to help you build credit. I mean, as far as credit is concerned, debit cards are no different than cash. And debit cards generally don't offer the same rewards and perks that credit cards do. Some of them have some rewards, but if they have them at all, they're not really as big. Most businesses don't use their business checking for anything that they don't have to for this reason. And a lot of businesses choose to charge expenses and pay them off each month to have access to rewards because those rewards are really free money. So which should you choose, debit or credit? It really depends on your personal financial habits and your personal and financial goals.
I recommend using credit cards. Credit cards, especially where fraud protection is really needed, for online shopping, booking travel, making sure that you have the insurance maybe that a credit card provides when you're using those type of purchases. But it also with the credit card, you get to build your points or whatever programs the credit card offers you to use their card. I don't like using credit cards, maybe more of a debit card for your groceries, gas, and everyday expenses, just to keep you grounded and avoid the temptation of carrying a balance on that credit card.
So let's talk best practices. Smart consumers use credit cards for building credit history. Regular, responsible use can improve your credit score. They use credit cards for rewards and cashback. Maximize those benefits on purchases you were already going to make anyway. Get that free money. They use credit cards for online shopping and travel bookings because that enhanced fraud protection makes credit cards safer for those transactions. And they use credit cards for large purchases because you can take advantage of those extended warranties and those purchase protections. On the other hand, smart consumers will use debit cards for everyday expenses. This is great for sticking to a budget and avoiding debt. You're also going to find smart consumers just using cash. I mean, they're both the same thing, but with cash, you actually see what you're spending much more vividly. Smart consumers use debit cards to get that cash at the ATM too, because that lets you avoid the cash advance fees that come with the, credit cards. And 3, avoiding debt. If you're prone to overspending, debit cards limit you to the cash that you have in your checking account. Now stick around. We're going to talk about 3 ways that you can save money by avoiding both credit and debit cards and just sticking with cold, hard cash.
Hey everyone, this is Kenny Klaus with Klaus Team Real Estate Solutions. We know there's a lot of confusion in today's market, whether it's billboards, TV, radio, mail, everyone's trying to get your attention. They offer one lane, where at the Klaus Team, we have over 20 different programs. We can help you navigate through to find out what's best for you. And remember, we work for you, they work for themselves. We're here to represent you and make sure you have the best experience possible.
Visit us at klausteam.com/call us first. Now, as promised, here's 3 ways that you can save money by using cash instead of cards. Number 1, you can avoid fees. When you use cash, you don't have to worry about overdraft fees, late payment fees, or interest charges. What you spend is exactly what you owe. There's no surprises. You don't have to worry about the wrong person getting that credit card or debit card info or swiping scams. I mean, we've used cash for decades and decades, right? Number 2, it's easier to stick to your budget. With cash, it's easier to see exactly how much you're spending. Once it's gone, it's gone. There's no tempting credit limit to stretch your budget. And this can help prevent impulse purchases. And budget experts like Dave Ramsey recommend the envelope system. That's where you put the cash that you have budgeted for different types of spending in different envelopes, like eating out at restaurants. And you never spend more than what's in that envelope. If you spend all your restaurant money for the month, you're done. And finally, number 3, cash can help you negotiate better deals. Believe it or not, cash can give you bargaining power. Some small businesses are willing to offer discounts for cash payments because they can avoid those credit card processing fees. Those are expensive for businesses. So don't be afraid to ask. Now, this is not going to apply for auto purchases because they make their money on financing. It doesn't mean that you can't get a financed car and pay it off right away if the terms of the loan allow it. So there you have it. That's the lowdown on debit versus credit cards and some bonus tips for using cash to save money. And remember, it's not about which one is better overall, but which one is better for you in the situation you're in. Now, if you found this video helpful, please swipe that thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and ring that bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. We release new content each week, and it really helps us bring more of the topics that you're interested in if we know what you like. Let us know in the comments down below how you use your cards. Are you a fan of debit, credit, or cash? And thanks for joining me today on the State 48 Homeowner Podcast. And whether you're swiping, inserting, tapping, or paying with cash, make sure you're making choices that are right for your financial future. Until next time, make it a great day. Thanks for spending time with us this week at State 48 Homeowner, the ins and outs of owning an Arizona home. You can connect with us for more information, submit topics you'd like us to further discuss. You can see relevant videos, give us feedback, answer your real estate questions, and more at state48homeowner.com.